Hi, I'm Sammy. I'm from Cultbox, and I'm speaking to...
You're speaking to Ben Wilbond here on my right.
Hello. And this is Lawrence Rickard.
Good evening.
And you are the co-writers of the new movie, Bill, which is out in
Guilty.
theaters on Friday the 19th. Fabulous. So, couple questions for you guys. You've done a couple of TV series before, sort of as a group. You've done Horrible Histories and Yonderland as well, which wrapped recently. Wonderful.
Thank you.
So I'm just wondering, were there any differences in the process between writing sort of TV and doing a longer form narrative, the film screenplay?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you think it's going to be great because you've got 90 plus pages to tell your story, but actually it's a long form narrative is harder to write because you've got at first you think, oh, I've got so much to pack in, and then you think, oh no, I've got too much, and it starts to bleed.
Our first draft was about 150 pages.
Yes, it was
and
a
has
bit
got
long.
Another 20 characters.
If we'd shot
which
that,
we've
it would
got.
be like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be Citizen Kane.
so
But well,
yeah.
not as good as Citizen Kane.
No,
it would
no,
be a
just
really bad, slightly funny Citizen
Yeah.
Kane.
Mr. Kane.
Mr. Kane, we call it.
Terrible.
But I think, the other difference is, that you've kind of, it's also the amount of time you've got to work that up, though. So we spent a lot of time working on the kind of the beats in the story and doing our homework, which means the actual writing of the script, if you've done all that bit, we did in about 3 or 4 weeks in a beautiful office in Croydon.
Oh, very nice. In Croydon.
In Croydon, yes,
Croydon,
absolutely.
not Crawley.
Inspired
Not
us.
Crawley.
No, not Crawley.
And I mean, you do still manage to pack a multitude of different characters in there, most of whom are played by sort of yourselves in the core sort of 6 of you. Is there sort of is there a process to figuring out who's going to play whom? Do you write something and go, ooh, like Ben would be really good for this one, or is it more just a case of sort of logistics?
Well,
It's both. It's about
both, yeah.
50-50. There's some characters who, the second we start writing them, you write the first line and go, well, that's got to be Simon, which is what happened with Croydon. The same with Philip, Bill being Matt, we knew really early on. And then there's others where it comes down to, the schedule, and we're shooting that scene that afternoon and you're in the scene in the morning, there's not time to change you, so that would have to be Larry rather than Jim. So it's kind of some which are circumstance and some which are just, we just immediately know. So.
So who was, respectively, who would you say your favorite characters to write in this project were?
Ben Wilbond.
hello. I would say Philip, my character, my lead character, mainly because he was a sort of pre-existing character in my head anyway. I did a lot of character comedy when I was just getting started on the circuit, and he was one of my sort of repertoire. And always loved playing him. And then when we started writing this, it was like, oh, well, that's just him. So it was really enjoyable because the voice was there. And so writing in the voice is kind of
He was fun to write.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
enjoy that. And all of them are in their little way. I really enjoyed writing Croydon because he thinks he's so great and he's such an idiot. That's always fun. Characters who think, there's always joy in writing a character who thinks they're one thing but is actually another. And Simon just does those so well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at its face.
Magnificent. So on the flip side, who was your favorite character to play?
I think probably, that's tough. I really liked playing Lope, pictured here, because he's really unhinged, and that's always fun. And also, his obsession with his device. And he's got, I don't want to say it because it's a spoiler, but there was one line from really early on. I said, if we cut anything, can we please just make sure we keep that one line? And this is my favourite line in the film that I can't say. So you have to see it if you want to know what that is.
I think I enjoyed taking the day off from Phil and playing this sort of grubby street mugger. It was great. It was really good fun. The only downside was that I had this enormous itchy beard on. But then, when I put an overcoat on and I looked exactly like our DOP and had a photo taken beside him on the camera rostrum, and we looked like brothers.
Yeah.
I put his glasses on, I looked like him.
Yeah. It's nice. It was a great moment.
That was fantastic. So as this film is sort of a piece of history, but sort of from a speculative standpoint, was it kind of interesting getting to kind of make stuff up as well as
I think that was one of the real
semi-factual.
one of the real joys of doing it was the fact that you got to kind of have our cake and eat it, and that we've got this really factual backdrop of what's happening, like politically, if you like, with particularly between Philip and Elizabeth, and then you've got these bookends at either end of the film with Shakespeare's life, how it started, how it goes on, but in between we could do anything we wanted. So it was kind of it had a little bit of the best of both worlds, I suppose.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. I suppose one last question,
Mm-hmm.
slightly tangential, but if you, rather than through the medium of fiction, through the medium of time travel, if you could visit a different period of history, where would you go?
I'd kind of like to see Victorian London. I'm semi-obsessed with the Victorians just because they just built stuff and got on with stuff, and they were kind of they were really ingenious. But I'm probably I'd get press ganged and stuck in the Navy or pushed down a mine or something, and then like, oh God, this is horrible.
This is awful.
It's one of those things that sounds good on paper.
Yeah. Plus, it would be really cold in the winter.
And
I'd actually quite like to go back to ancient Rome just to see how cool it was. This is really cool, guys. Don't stop doing this. This is great. You got underfloor heating. You got viaducts. You got everything.
just stop
It's a
everything.
civilization.
Keep everything as it is.
Keep everything as. Oh no, you haven't. No,
Oh,
you've
great!
lost
You've
it.
knocked
Just
it down.
imagine.
Yeah.
Just imagine where we'd be now if
Be
that happened.
wonderful. Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
we'd all be
shocking.
living in space.
So there we have it.
There we have it. Well, thank you so much for
Absolute
chatting
pleasure.
today.
Okay. Pleasure.
Bill's out Friday. Very much looking forward to it.
That's great.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.